So I had to find my community. I want to be able to push that envelope to allow other people who look like me or who might feel insecure about themselves know that if I feel confident and happy with myself, that they can too.
You're doing something greater than yourself.
Not everything is rainbows and sunshine, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to make sure it is a positive representation. And
That just like hit really hard and I was like, yep, this girl's the one.
when you lean into who you are, you just become more successful as a human being, and life is just more fulfilling that way.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Spill the Tea. I'm super excited to introduce our next guest today for so many reasons. She is super talented, fashion model. She is a local Seattle foodie. She does hair and makeup professionally. You've probably seen her in campaigns like on Ulta or Amazon Prime recently, and she's just been a really good friend of mine. So welcome to the podcast, Vanessa.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great.
I feel like I've known you forever, and it's been really cool to kind of see a little bit of your journey and the evolution of who Vanessa is. And you, I feel like, wear so many different hats because not only are you like this really like cool model, content creator, you just like do it all, but you also work a full-time corporate job, right?
I do. Yes. Yeah. I am a full-time digital marketing, SEO, and content strategist.
Wow.
So you do like so much and you wear so many different hats. So like, how do you like just even introduce yourself? Like,
Ooh, it's a long intro, I will say.
Yeah.
So I usually tell people, so my name is Vanessa Ronquillo. I am a Filipino-American plus-size model, fashion and beauty content creator, and food blogger, hair and makeup artist, and a content SEO strategist. That's usually the title I go with. That's usually my intro. It's long, it's lengthy, but it accompanies, like, everything comes together with that.
I love that. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But you do a lot. And as long as I've known you, you've always done a lot. I mean, you can add like event planner to that list too.
Yeah. We used to event plan together.
Yes.
What, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Maylin talks a lot about you, and it's like, oh, it's Vanessa, the one who does this is like the same Vanessa?
Who also does this.
Who also does this? Oh, what? It's the same? So it's really cool. Yeah, like your skill sets are just phenomenal. It's just
Thank you.
It's like you do everything under the sun.
It's everything I love.
That's good.
Yeah. So it doesn't ever feel like work. And
Nice.
I think that's how I was able to balance it, because it just never feels like work. I'm just like, I love it. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all the experience with that event planning that we used to do, Milan, I think has helped me be able to manage a lot of what I do now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I remember like when we were doing event planning, all the skill sets that you learn from event planning can be applied to everything that you do. Everything. Like literally anything.
Yeah.
It like you can carry it over for whatever job you are doing, running a business.
Yeah. I mean, like as successful as your business, like I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody sees the results, right?
Exactly.
They don't see everything that went into it. Because I saw some of your photos. Was it like you had a white dress on? Maylin was showing this to me. It was like a photo, like a random photo thing that you did. You had like this white dress on.
Your fiance.
Oh, the suit, power suits.
Yeah.
Yes, that one. She was showing me that one, and like that, those were beautiful. But like nobody's like we see the end result. We see the photos.
Yeah.
But like, what did it take to get there? What did it take to get that attention? That that kind of like all the eyes on you in that way.
Honestly, that algorithm was really working for that video, because I will say I edit my videos for the most part, and the concepts of all of these photo shoots usually from my brain. I posted that thinking nothing of it, but honestly, I think it blew up because of that representation. Like someone commented saying like, I've never seen a plus size Asian woman with an Asian man. And I was like, interesting, because it's usually like, you see different combinations of couples, but like there's like, oh, a plus size Asian woman and a plus size Asian, like what?
Yeah.
Like I never seen that. And I think that's what like got it to, why the algorithm was working so hard for it, is because it was just not something that people posted about or saw, especially mainstream media. So, I mean, all to say, like, everything I do is for positive representation of, me
great.
and my communities, right? Yeah. So it's just like plus size community, Asian American community, Filipino American, Pacific Northwest community. It's something that I actually take to heart. Like I am representing more than myself. It isn't just, oh, me. It's more of like, what am I putting out there that's actually helping the community? And am I putting it in a good light? And I want to remain like, not everything is rainbows and sunshine, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to make sure it is a positive representation and not something that, people are going to be like, oh, just I'm not going to give you the time or day. I want to be able to push that envelope to allow other people who look like me or who might feel insecure about themselves know that if I feel confident and happy within myself, that they can too.
That's fantastic. I love that because you're doing something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
And that brings a lot of just satisfaction to the work, I think.
Yeah. It brings a lot of meaning to what you do. And I'm sure it brings a lot of like fulfillment for you.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that purpose and fulfillment like shines through in your work where other people can really see that. And I really believe like your energy, like people can read energy. They might not like know exactly everything that's going on. They might not know like who you are exactly, but they can feel your presence and your energy through the things that you do. So I think that's like really like so cool.
I love that you say that because it is the number one thing that I hear from people is like, your energy. I think I get booked for like gigs, modeling gigs, or even content creation gigs because of the energy. Like people want to work with people that they like. Yeah. And if you have negative energy in going into any project that you do, it's not going to be as successful. But if you have like the right mindset going into things, like it actually like domino effects. Like people are like, oh, I liked working with Vanessa. I'm going to bring her back. And I have multiple of my like modeling clients are like, bring her back all of the time. And again, booked and busy. So you know how it
I think
is.
too, part of that is just the authenticity because what I like the vibe I get from you is you are authentically who you are. Like there's no fake niceness, which is like huge, right? Because there's also other like large influencers that are rough around the edges, but it's authentic and they have followers because they are who they are, and you just authentically you, and that energy that I think that you put out is so real. It's just you just bring a smile to everybody's face when you're around, which is like it's like it feels good to have you around, and it's real. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just that authenticity that you bring to the table as well.
I appreciate that. I try to be, that's why I'm very selective about like the projects and the people I work with. Nice. Because if it doesn't feel right to me, if it doesn't feel authentic to me, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna know it. So I've said no to many projects now, and I feel like I have that privilege of being able to say no to things. Right, I'm not on the hustle and grind like I used to. I mean, I'm still, but it's not like desperately like I need to do everything. Like I could be selective, and so the things that you do see me put out there is because it's me being selective of like what I love doing.
Fantastic.
I want to go back to something you talked about a little bit earlier about community and how that's like so important to you. So could you tell us a little bit more about like what makes community so important for you and why that is such a focus in what you do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Community, like I will say, I grew up in Japan. I was born in the Philippines. So as a Navy, like my dad was in the Navy. That's why I moved around. And I always was kind of hungry for a sense of community as someone who does move around or is in places where people are constantly moving. It's like you kind of are holding on to something that is familiar, but it's like constantly changing at more of a rapid pace in comparison to people who live in one place. I'm very envious of people who live in one place because they're like, they have their community. So I had to find my community. And when I moved here to Washington, I was like 16. I literally like junior year of high school, you know, where everyone's already they already have their community, their cliques, their friends. And I'm here just like nobody. I felt this is the most lonely I've ever felt in my entire life because I was like, you know, the scene in like Mean Girls where, you know, she was trying to find a bathroom to eat lunch in. That was me when I moved here. And so I didn't have that sense of community because, again, new place. Yeah. I had no one, you know. So after feeling like that low, I was like, I want to build from the ground up. I want to be selective about the people I'm around. And then be able to serve my community versus like just take and take. Because the more you give, the more you get, essentially, in life, in all things. And I do believe like after finding like my community, it took a while. And I'm still kind of building like different communities. I will say social media has helped too, because it has helped me reach like more people that actually relate to me and see themselves in me. And I see myself in them. It's actually a beautiful thing, but because I know what it feels like to not have it. Yeah. And so, community is huge for me. It's a big motivator. I do love people. I'm an extrovert at heart. So I'm energized by other people. And I think the bigger the community and the more intentional, like the people that you're talking to, it's just more impactful.
I love that.
So I have a question, and I like to ask this because it's kind of like we get to look at you now versus you then. If you were to pick a time in your life where it was probably the toughest time, and you can go back in that time of life and tell yourself something or give yourself a little bit of a pick-me-up, what would you tell yourself?
Ooh, there's like two distinct moments where I'm like the lowest, right? I kind of touched on one of them when I moved from Japan to Washington. I lived in Japan for 10 years. I knew everybody. And moving to Washington, I was definitely like, there was a lot of events that happened. So I moved, didn't have a lot of friends. My best friend in Japan had passed away at a young age. And I just felt like, okay, the world is just over. You know, when you're younger, it's just like, it's over. It's like, it's not even happening. I took that time to really like try to reinvent myself. Like what it is, life is too short, one. I don't want to be doing things I don't want to do. So I would tell my younger self, like, it's going to be okay. Like, just continue, like, that suffering, that pain, that's going to be motivation for, like, the long haul. So just, like, lean into it. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
I love that.
Yeah. That's what I would tell my younger self at a time where it was very dark and sad.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that.
Wow. I feel like there's just like so much to unpack there.
I know, there's a lot.
But like, I know like modeling wasn't something that you wanted to go into necessarily or thought of going into for yourself. But now that you're here and you are modeling, how do you have like that confidence to go into these modeling gigs and just like kill it? Because like your shoes are like amazing.
Thank you. To be honest, growing up, I was really insecure. I mentioned I lived in Japan. Everyone in my like military base was probably like Asian, and everyone was really petite. I was actually the tallest girl one of the tallest girls in my class, and probably the biggest girls in my class. And so I would try to shrink myself, like shrink my personality, because I didn't want to take space. I didn't want to get bullied. I just like shrink myself as much, like, because of my insecurities. So I actually didn't talk a lot. I was just quiet on the side. I played varsity volleyball. Like, my coach probably heard me talk like 3 times, like the whole time. And I remember the time where I really didn't have the capacity to take space. And then now that I'm modeling, I realize I want to lean into those insecurities that I had, because it's what makes me different. And so I'm now trying to take up space. And that's probably why you see me in like everything, right? I'm taking up space, and I realize people are watching me. And so if I feel and look insecure and like not confident, it's like, what am I trying to tell other young girls? What am I trying to tell my younger self? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, how is my actions speaking to someone who's probably looking at me? It's more of like the role model, but it's like in my brain, I'm like my role model for my younger self, who was super insecure, super like, quiet, and trying to shrink herself as much as she can. What did she need to see for her to excel in life at an earlier age?
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
And it's so important to like, I think the fact that you're still using that to still go outside of yourself, like to really like take that into the work that you do. And even though it's for your younger self, it's also for all the younger girls right now, who is like your younger self. And that's really cool and really empowering.
Yeah, because everyone, there's always someone watching, even though you don't think there is always like someone who's like looking at your actions. And especially now that I feel like I have a platform of people, like I don't want to let people down, but the confidence definitely came in from hard times. It was from challenging times where I was like, okay, I already feel at rock bottom. What can go wrong if I do something different, right? And I think that internal like confidence is just like, I just build myself up just because no one else is going to. You have to love yourself more, the most, I think.
You have to be your like biggest fan at the end of the day.
Your biggest ally, your advocate, fan.
And it really speaks to like the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Too.
I love that.
Yeah.
So so now that you have built yourself up.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And you're at this point in life where you not only get to take more space, but you get to say no to. I think that's huge. You get to say no to a lot of brands. The ones that you only say yes to the ones that like fit your what you're trying to do. So I guess like, what's the next big project that you're able to talk about? Because I know you've got a lot of things going on that.
Okay, I have some personal projects. One of them is actually my brother and I. Our family has been really into like the food. My family used to cater in Japan. We cook. Food is our love language. And my brother is, a chef, and he has been in the food industry for years. And so I was like, what would be really great is to start something together with my family. So we have Running with the Ronquillos that just kicked off like during Thanksgiving. Yeah, and so my brother is usually the one cooking, but everyone's like, Vanessa needs to cook. So you might see me cooking, but that's going to be like our home cooking like content channel, I would say. I have some big photo shoots. Am I allowed to talk about them? I think so. I did model recently for Remy Martin for Lunar New Year. So I'm really excited about that. I can't talk too much details about it, but I'm pretty excited for that to come out. And then Lunar New Year is coming up pretty quickly. So
by the time this video is produced, it might already be Lunar New Year past.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you might be okay
be on
there.
the lookout.
Hey.
No, it was a star-studded cast. And I really just enjoyed that photo shoot and commercial. I think it was definitely the commercial and photo shoot of my dreams.
Nice.
The whole set was
exciting.
Perfect. Think Crazy Rich Asians. It was amazing.
I saw the photos.
There were some big names in that photo.
Yeah, there were some big names. So
some big names in that photo.
It looks really cool. So have you worked with your brother that closely before?
So my brother and I travel a lot. I don't think we've really worked in like a working capacity. I mean, we hang out all the time. We watch K-dramas. We, go out to eat. We travel. My family's pretty tight-knit. I have two brothers, two younger brothers. I'm the oldest. I'm the ate, they would say in Tagalog. And I'm very protective of my brothers. So I've never worked with any of my brothers before, but Kyle, actually, my youngest brother, him and I are pretty close. And I think that like we call each other out, so I don't see any issues. I did say like, hey, if we're gonna do this, and if we like get into a fight, just know like we're still like siblings. At the end of the day, we're still family. He's like, yeah, I'm not worried. I'm like, yeah, I'm not worried either. But you never know. Like you guys, you work together, husband and wife. So, what are some tips to make sure that like everything is good, like at home and also at the business?
Well, I know. Oh my gosh, people have asked what made me want to marry Maylin. Right?
Yeah,
and I love this because we were actually arguing about something really stupid, and we were going back and forth, and she says, "I don't know why you're arguing with me. We're on the same team, and we're fighting for the same thing." It was like that just like hit really hard, and I was like, "Yep, this girl's the one."
Oh, I love that.
And it was the biggest thing when you're fighting for the same. Just realizing that when we are kind of like butting heads, sometimes it's because we're butting heads about the same thing, and we're trying to achieve the same goal. We're just two very different people.
Yeah.
And we have different approaches. So sometimes I've really had to learn how to compromise, because I am hard-headed and just stubborn as an ox. And,
I don't believe that.
And Maylin's been very, very kind and very forgiving of me. And I really appreciate that. And she's also really helped me open my eyes as far as, working together, because I'm not always a person that works well with other people. Full transparency.
But it kind of something similar to what you said earlier about like what you said to your brother about, even if we get into a fight, at the end of the day, you're still my brother. Yeah. Like we're still family. Yeah. And I think it's this similar concept, like at the end of the day, regardless of like the arguments that we have, even if it's work related, that doesn't mean that we don't like each other as people or we don't have a strong relationship still, right? Yeah. Even if we have like an argument or we disagree on something, we still have a strong relationship. We still love each other. We're still close. It doesn't mean that, we just don't like, we may not agree on everything. But,
and that's okay.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, and I think we've learned that it's okay to be like two unique individuals, because Ralph and I are so different, and we're literally like opposites on everything. Personality types, like if you're into astrology, on like the signs, like literally like Chinese zodiac, like literally we're opposite on every single thing in life. Every like horoscope I've ever read, it's like you guys aren't compatible.
Oh, but you made it work. You make it work. So I love that.
So I think we've been able to just like be okay with being very different. Yeah, and that it's okay, and we might not like always get along, but we like work through it.
I love it. Yeah, I run my food blog with my best friend, and so we're not family, but it's essentially like family, right? Yeah. She's like a sister to me. So, I'm not too worried to work with like close family, friends, like significant other. That's a challenge. I applaud you both, because I don't know if Nick and I did something together, like it would be fine, but I'm not ready to and add in another thing to my collection of projects, but I think it would be okay. I probably would have to like seek help from you guys all constantly, but but I think my brother is going to be okay, and like also my best friend. Like we've been doing it for years. It's you, like you said, you just have to lean into your differences and acknowledge that you guys are different people. But no, I love it. I love seeing how you guys work as a team together.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like, leaning into your differences allows you to focus on your strengths, right?
Absolutely. I love that.
So I kind of want to go back to the running with the Ronquillos. That's going to be on YouTube.
Yes. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
All right. So make sure you guys look out for that when
Yeah.
it comes out. That's going to be fun. And you know, if you guys do kind of butt heads, it just adds a little spice to the.
That's true. That's true. People love sibling drama sometimes.
Yes.
So we're gonna have a whole episode where you guys are just like mad at each other the whole time, but like cooking something together.
Throwing spoons and stuff.
Spoons. I like that. Spoons and not knives.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be an
Brings
entertaining
back
one.
childhood memories.
Oh my god.
The reality.
All right. Well, I want to be able to respect your time because I know you have a busy day. So, we're coming up to the end of our time with you. So, is there any last words or any words of wisdom that you would like to impart to our audience today?
Ooh, words of wisdom. So many. I will say, like we just mentioned, lean into your differences. Lean into your differences, that what makes you different, and your insecurities, because that's actually what's going to make you stand out. And I do believe, like, when you lean into who you are, you just become more successful as a human being, and life is just more fulfilling that way. But thank you guys so much for having me. Like, this is such a fun conversation, and you guys have comfy couches. I just had like a great morning, honestly. So thank you.
Oh, we loved having you.
Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
Yes.
We appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Yay, thank you.
The end.